Hey guys, it's Owl's Dragon, and if you've been watching any Pokemon videos or just video game videos in general, you'll know that these challenge videos have been blowing up, and I just love them. So every Sunday, I'll be posting a challenge video, so if you like what you see here, subscribe to get notified about new videos. Now let's get into the video. Can you beat Pokemon Sword and Shield with only one surprise trade Pokemon? First, let's start with the rules. Number 1, I can only use one surprise traded Pokemon in battle. I can't just use any random Pokemon I catch. They have to be either in my party and can't be used in battle, or they have to be in a box. Number 2, no items can be used in battle, and I can't use held items either. However, items outside of battle are acceptable, like a potion when there's no Pokemon Center around. Finally, number 3, I can only catch up to one box of Pokemon and only for XP. You'll see why I do this later, and I can't use any of the Pokemon caught in battle. So now let's actually get into the video. So, after we choose a girl because all of the memes, we get introduced to our rival Hop and we head out on our Pokemon adventure. Just kidding, there's a 10-minute cutscene where you meet Papa Leon until you can pick your starter. And that's where our first problem begins. You can't immediately surprise trade your starter. You have to go through like 30 plus minutes of cutscenes, battles, catching tutorials, and meeting characters with your starter until you can trade it off. So if you don't count that brief period of using your starter, the challenge is A-OK. So I start by choosing Sobble, and I come up with the perfect name for him. And after pounding Hop's Pokemon to death, we meet a mysterious Pokemon who definitely isn't on the box art or anything because of a dumbass Wooloo who's miraculously okay. Then we say goodbye forever to our mom and meet Sonia to get a Pokédex. Next we meet Magnolia after fighting some trainers, and she helps Papa Leon see that we're Pokemon gods and can do the gym challenge after water gunning Hop's poor Scorbunny to death. And we can't forget the magic wishing stars that conveniently come out of nowhere for no reason. Luckily after that battle though, we finally get the Wycom, which allows us to surprise trade, and because Sobble left a lasting impact in my heart, I didn't want to trade him, so I caught a Rookity to trade off. But seriously, I thought you had to have two Pokemon to trade because you can't trade your starter immediately. I don't know, I might be wrong, so let me know in the comments. But anyway, I ended up getting a Sudowoodo. I could have definitely gotten worse, but this still brought up three definite concerns for me. The first is its stats. Although its defense is really good, Sudowoodo lacks in his attack stats, and most definitely in his speed. Oh my god, just look at that speed. Second is his typing. Since he's purely rock type, he takes normal damage from most, but has 5 common weaknesses like fighting on ground. This means that at least 4 of the gym leaders will have an advantage over me, including Milo, Ness, Bee, and Gordy, because of his rock types that have a lot of steel and ground type moves. Leon also has an advantage because of his Rhyperior, Aegislash, and Rillaboom. Finally, my last concern is his move pool. It's extremely tiny and mostly consists of rock, normal, and fighting, which won't do me any good against his weaknesses, but overall I could have done a lot worse, like Magikarp for example. Anyways, after I traded Rookity, I also traded Sobble because he's a crybaby, and I get a Togepi, but we won't be using him. First come, first serve. So Sudowoodo doesn't get crushed in the wild area. I stay in the starting area and get him up to level 10, and then I head for the wild area. I end up staying far longer in the wild area than I should have, but I level him up to level 17 before going to Motosoke. In Motosoke, I get shown what league cards are by Sonia in the Pokemon Center, and then I talk to the move reminder to have Sudowoodo learn Wood Hammer, Slam, and Hammer Arm instead of Harden, Double Edge, and Flail. After this, I go to sign up for the gym challenge with good old Hot Boy and pick the best possible number. Then I go to the hotel to wait for the opening ceremony, but run into the new knockoff Kiss, Team Yell, and after destroying them, I meet their leader Marnie, who I promptly make my new Goth GF. The next day, I flaunt around my new 69 outfit in front of thousands of people, and then I head out to Route 3, but Hop stops me, so I kick his ass and continue forward. On the route, I meet Sonia, and she shows me a power plant that I don't care about in the slightest, and then I take care of all the trainers on the route, which levels Sudowoodo to level 21 before entering Galar Mine. But that was actually an awful choice, because then he decides not to listen to me at all because he's too high level. Luckily, I managed to survive all the trainers in the mine. Just kidding, some pink dumbass at the end became the first actual challenge of this challenge. Since Sudowoodo wouldn't listen to commands, Bede kept destroying me, but luckily I managed on the third attempt to hit a Wood Hammer, which managed to one-shot his Hatena. My health was already low by that point, and the recoil from Wood Hammer got me down to 1 health. I just barely managed to beat him, and man did it feel so good. So Galar Cave and Route 4 is where Rule 3 comes into play. Because I can't reliably knock out Pokemon, I decided to catch them for XP in these two areas, but I made a limit so I didn't become too catch crazy. After training to level 24, I run into my first of the concerning gym leaders, Milo, the grass type leader, and head to his gym after talking to Sonia about the darkest day for a bit. The first gym mission wasn't too hard, and I breezed right on by, or should I say rolled on through, but Milo himself was not so easily rolled. Since Sudowoodo wouldn't listen to my commands, he was very difficult, but on my third try I managed to take him down due to Sudowoodo's defense and honestly luck. The first concern was down and we got the first gym badge. After this gym, Sudowoodo would listen again, so on Route 5 I decided to get him to level 27. Next on the bridge to the next town, Holberry, I stopped some Team Yell guys and got a bike, so that made this playthrough a lot faster. On the same bridge, Hop tried to stop me again, so I kicked his ass again. Luckily I picked Sobble, so Hop had Score Bunny, which Sudowoodo was strong against. Then in Holberry, I ran into the chairman who knew me better than his own adopted son thing, so he's also going to be called Papa. Remind you of anyone else in the Pokemon series? But anyway, I ran to the lighthouse to meet the second challenge, Nessa, and after talking to her, I head to the gym to face her. Her challenge was also easy as hell. Again though, she was not as easy. I beat her on the second try because the first I had some major bad luck, like being confused by Water Pulse. But thanks to the Wood Hammer, the second try was pretty easy despite the recoil. And there goes the second concern and second gym leader. Afterwards, I met Papa Rose and Sonia at a restaurant until they left abruptly, and then I left to the wild area for more training before going back to Galar Mine number 2. How original, but luckily Bede was in the entrance of the mine and I got to have my sweet revenge and crush him for what happened in the first mine. I would eventually find Kabu, the fire leader, and told him to get his dumbass back to the gym. By the time I left the mine, Sudowoodo was at level 33. When I finally made it back to Motosuke, the gym was closed for the night, so I went back to the hotel I originally stayed at. Luckily, I ran into my goth GF again and had a chance to show her who the dom in our lesbian relationship was by beating her in a battle. The next day, I immediately headed for the gym. The gym mission was simple, but when I caught the Pokemon, they were stuck in my party, so I was in danger of breaking rule number 1, but luckily they never left their balls because I crushed Kabu and got the third gym badge, easily. Before leaving for Hammerlock, Kabu and the other 2 gym leaders we faced show up to confirm that we are in fact Pokemon gods. Then I go to the wild area once again to get to Hammerlock. Before entering though, I trained Sudowoodo up to level 40, but as soon as we enter the door, Bede tells us that Hop had lost to him and now he's being a Q Sobble's nickname. We head to the Hammerlock Stadium where Papa Rose tells us some sciencey stuff, and then we head for Route 6, but we get stopped again at the vault where we learn history stuff now too from Sonia. But then when we finally think we're gonna see Route 6, some more Team Yell guys won't let us through because we're too loud. But then we show them that we're not as loud as the screams of their dying Pokemon. Hop came to help, but of course, he doesn't do anything because he's a Sobble's nickname. On Route 6, I actually did have a bit of trouble because of a sock and throw, but on the second try, I beat them pretty easily. On this route, I also find the TM Dig and learned that instead of Slam. I also meet another trainer with a Sudowoodo on this route, so I kick his ass to show him how my Sudowoodo is superior. Before heading into the next town, Stow-Inside, I level Sudowoodo up to level 42. When I try to head for the gym, Hop stops me, so I have to kick his ass again. He really doesn't learn, huh? I get through the gym mission with a little difficulty because of the type disadvantage, but I do manage to get it first try. I can't say the same for Bee though, she was quite the challenge. She also took me 3 times to beat, just like Milo and Bede. Looks like 3rd time's a charm in this playthrough. The only reason why I beat Bee was because I used Dig pretty strategically to get her Machamp's Dynamax form to run out of turns. But overall, I got pretty lucky and got the 4th gym badge. After beating B, I catch Bede defacing public property, so I battle him for the right to do it myself. I crushed him again, but then Papa Rose gives Bede a little spanking and says he's out of the competition. One less competitor for me though. Then we break the wall in and see secret big boy doggos from history. Afterwards, I head for the Glimwood Tangle. In this area, I level Sudowoodo up to level 46 and head to the next city, Balanlia. I immediately head for the gym and run into my encouraging goth GF and head for the gym mission. For once, I actually failed this gym mission because I actually have really awful luck because Pseudo gets confused and hits himself like a dumbass. But luckily, it didn't make me face all 3 trainers again, and I get through the gym mission second try. Luckily though, I breezed right on through Opal because answering the questions correctly gave me buff stats. I think it's kind of funny that I had more trouble with the gym mission than the leader, but I ended up getting the 5th gym badge. After the battle, Opal brings me back to Hammerlock and initiates Bede into her secret cult. But after that I head to Route 7, but Hop stops me again, so I kick his ass again. Just kidding, he actually beat me first try, which was surprising, but I do beat him second try. I end up leaving Route 7 at level 50, and Route 8 was right after Route 7, and was a longer route, but I only leveled him to level 52. When I make it to the next city, Sirchester, I head straight for the gym again. Surprisingly, the gym challenge was less of a concern than I thought, thanks to Wood Hammer, Dig, and Hammer Arm. I also destroyed my last concerning gym leader first try, which was a huge shocker, but I got the 6th gym badge quite easily, and Gordy was ass. After the gym, we head to the local McDonald's, which has some history mural for some reason. Kind of a weird place for that, but okay. And then after a boring explanation, Hop wanted to battle, so I kick his ass again. Just kidding, this one actually took me 4 tries because of the hail and lack of one-shotting. It was definitely the hardest battle yet. Kudos to Hop for actually getting good. After the massacre from Hop, I head to Route 9, where I meet the bike guy again and get the Jesus modification for my bike, which allows me to ride on water. Route 9 was actually pretty tough too due to some fighting type trainers, but I get through on my second try and get Pseudo to level 57. When we finally get to the next city, Spikemuth, the gates are closed, but our Goth GF found a way in, but will only let us through if we battle her, so again, I show her who the Dom is and go in. Now entering Spikemuth came another instance of potential rule breaking. To enter the gym mission, you needed 2 Pokemon in your party, so this is where Togepi comes into play. I keep the Togepi in my party, which still counts because of Rule 3, and I continue on. Until a double battle, that is. I had to use Togepi in that battle, but never once during the gym mission, or in the rest of the double battles in this challenge, did it do anything on the battlefield and immediately died. So technically this could be a break of Rule 3, but since it didn't do anything at all, I'm fine with it. After beating all the Team Yell and Spikemuth, I could finally face a Dark-type leader Piers, who I thought I would have no problem with, but Piers was the hardest opponent up to this point. I realized I had no chance because of his Scrafty and Obstagoon, so I went back to the wild area to do some heavy leveling. By the time I had faced Piers again, Pseudo was level 62, and even then I wasn't strong enough, so I did decide to use some candies to get to level 70, but since these were used outside of battle, they still work with rule number 2. But at level 70, I finally beat Piers on my 5th try and got the 7th gym badge. After the battle, some guy tells us to follow him, offering free candy, so of course we follow, but all we get to see is Hop, so what a letdown. After talking with him, we head to Hammerlock, where we meet Sonia and Magnolia. After talking with them, we head to the final gym. The gym mission wasn't that hard, but I had to use Togepi since there were double battles, but he was never actually used. Although the gym mission was easy, Raihan definitely wasn't. His Flygon was a definite problem because of his Steel-type moves, but when I finally decided to target Flygon first, I won after 6 times, but eventually I got the final badge from Raihan. Since that was the last gym battle, I knew I didn't have to worry about Pseudo not listening, so once again I went back to the wild area after I beat Raihan. I leveled Pseudo up to level 81 and finally went to Route 10 to go to Winden. On Route 10 I had a bit of trouble again, but got through on my 3rd try. After making it to Winden, I went to the final stadium for the semifinals. The first challenger was our Goth GF, but once again we showed her who the Dom was and crushed her. Next was Hop, and just like the beginning of our adventure, I absolutely destroyed him, which was a good change of pace. I guess you could say I kicked his ass again. After the semifinals, we go to a hotel to meet up with Papa Leon. But he never shows, so with the help of Piers, we go to save him from Papa Rose. But this douchebag with shades has the key, so I have to kick his ass 3 times to get the key with help from our Goth GF and Piers. Finally, we make it to the Rose Tower and Hop helps us get to the top. At the top, Alina stands there and she absolutely destroys us with her Frostlass and Sarina. So after 3 tries of fails, I buy the team's Fire Punch and Ice Punch. I tried Hammer Arm for Ice Punch and go back to face her. Since Ice Punch is super effective against grass, it takes her Sarina down really quick. But all in all, it took 5 tries to take her down. After that, we save Papa Leon and we wait for the finals the next day at the hotel. Our first opponent in the finals is Bede, back from the cult, but he's no big deal and we beat him first try. The second opponent is our second concern, Nessa, but thanks to Woodhammer, she's taken down first try easily. But our third challenger, who is our third concern, was not so easily defeated. It took 3 tries with the same strategy of using Dig to beat Bede. Lastly, our final opponent was Raihan, and he was pretty easy. We swept through him since it was a single battle. Next was Leon, but oh no, it's Papa Rose, and he made a doomsday. Better go save the world. So we go grab our rusty pokey stick and go to Hammerlock to save the world. Alina begs us to save Papa Rose, so we go to save him, but he's like, nah, we gotta battle first. He's pretty tough and he takes 3 tries to beat, but after we beat him, we run to save our other Papa from Eternatus. But when we can't beat him, those big boy doggos come and save the day. They took my damn pokey stick though. We literally have to catch Eternatus, but it's fine because we hadn't filled up a box yet. After we saved the world and stuff, we finally fight Papa Leon, but oh boy was he hard. After 4 failed attempts, I switched Woodhammer out for Fire Punch to deal with Rillaboom and Aegislash, but even that wasn't enough. So I go back to the wild area again and level him up to level 100. It's now or never. We go back to fight him, but we still lose a lot. But eventually, with extreme luck and skill, we beat him and this challenge after 10 battles with him. This challenge took over 16 hours and took over 24 if you include editing and script writing, but we did it while following all 3 rules. So, can you beat Pokemon Sword and Shield with only 1 surprise trade Pokemon? Technically no, because forced double battles and not being able to trade immediately, but in my book yes, so task failed successfully. If you guys are still here, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please consider subscribing and liking the video for more videos to come. Also, if you have any challenges you'd like to see me do, comment them and I might give them a shot. Thank you for watching.